everyone. Welcome to a special, very special edition of Canadian Drain, where I have two guests. I managed to score again the great Nick Majors from Beyond America, Canada, Looking South, and Doug Coor, Drill Sgt, admin Doug from Sons of Liberty, and the fearless leader of our own political drain network. So welcome to you both.
I'm happy to be here. Happy to be here. Happy to finally get to speak to Nick in person. You've had all the privileges so far.
Oh, you guys had an interview before.
We had the first one, right? Or was it after yours?
Yeah, I recorded you once on my channel. You appeared on my channel once.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's it. Yeah. All right. And just over the last couple of weeks, we've grown our own channel contributors quite a bit. And I'm glad to see it finally getting to the point where people are saying, I need in, I got to do something.
I feel a level of frustration beyond what I can tell you.
Agreed.
That we've gone through. I never in my life imagined I would ever witness the things that I'm seeing. It's just, and day after day, it just seems to steamroll. You know, I'm so encouraged when I meet people like you and your channel who seem to understand the severity of what's happening, because I've got some concerns about people underreacting to the threat we're facing.
I just watched the Romano report about an hour ago, and he's really freaking out that nobody's paying attention.
Yeah, and I'm even seeing that here in Canada. You know, we really did a number and a great thing in earlier this year when we rejected Polyev and rallied behind Carney and moved forward saying we were going to set our own path. But, you know, Mark Carney is going to Washington on Monday. And I understand he's a professional manager. He's an executive. He's a suit, and he knows how to manage relationships. But I don't know if you can negotiate with a madman, and your president is a madman.
Yeah.
And anything you try to talk to him, negotiate with, he will only do it to screw you, to take advantage of you. I don't know if we should be doing that at all. Yeah. I saw a recent video of yours, Laura, and you were calling out the Liberals, because I support the Liberals because they were so crucial to stop us from sliding into the Maple MAGA well. And he did a great job saving us and getting us there. But I sometimes think we've got to start getting tougher and accepting this as a long haul battle that's going to cost. There's going to be a price to pay, but we got to be willing to push it. And I think we should be tougher in the U.S. government.
Well, as for the meeting that Carney is having with Trump, I think it's he kind of waited till this time post-UN and a few other meetings, because we've made some key partnerships and policies around copper and aluminum. Yeah, with the EU and UK, and copper is going to be flowing through Ottawa and London now. It's so the US missed out on a big deal there with copper, the copper market, and it's also going to put the pinch on China, and also we've been dealing with the purchase of more equipment, submarines and so on from Germany and stuff like that. So I think that maybe he's going down there and say, look, we've got you.
Yeah.
It's just my hope.
Anyway. A couple of things.
Well,
there's a couple that have concerned me. I just want to make my last 2 points because I've had no one to complain to yet, okay? I was a bit concerned when I heard the Liberals were inviting the person who laid the blueprint for Project 2025 to address the cabinet. What's that about?
Weird. Yeah, that was very weird.
And then the Parliament, the Canadian Parliament, giving a moment of silence to Charlie Kirk.
Well, they gave a standing ovation.
The assassination was a nightmare. Nobody gained from that assassination.
No.
I'm just really disturbed by how many people took advantage of it, trying to use it to their benefit.
Well, it's so sick.
And the thought that in Canada, Charlie Kirk spoke openly against Canada and Canadian values. Yeah. For our Parliament to then honor him with a moment's silence, I thought, what is going on here? There's something wrong.
Well, a lot of people felt that way, and I did do a something on that on one of my episodes about what the fuck, this guy is a scumbag. I have no idea, but there's still a big proponent of Maple MAGA out there, and there's still a lot of uh, interference from the South to make this happen. So, yeah, we
So
got to call them better on it.
here's, I wanted to come, especially to learn, right? Because I wanted to know what's going on up there. You guys are much more well informed on obviously Canada, but on even the world, because America is just, we're insulated, and we have
Naval
to
gazers.
dig to even try to hear anything out there. But here's what I see, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong-headed on this. There may be some interference. There's always backroom deals. There's always, America still has its tentacles in people's pockets as well as politics.
Mhm.
But I think the main problem is, outside of that, nobody's treating America, Trump, tariffs, business, anything having to do with a fingernail in America the way that it should be treated. We ought to be treated as one of the axis of evil. We ought to be treated as Nazi Germany. We ought to be treated as if we have a fascist in office who is hell-bent on destroying them at all costs, even when he's smiling.
Yes.
But people are so used to America being the leader. People are so used to America being the democracy, the oldest ones that has survived so far, that it's hard for them to make that hard turn. If it was any other country doing what we saw in Chicago,
Yep.
doing what our president did with the generals, doing a tenth of what we're doing with the rest of the world. Hey, son, I'll be there in just a minute. Doing a tenth of what we're doing, the response would have been so swift from America and America's allies in the UN.
Yeah.
But because the leader is now the destroyer, no one knows how to approach it, and everyone has kid gloves on, and everyone's standing ovations for Charlie Kirk, when if it wasn't for the fact that he's just so happened to be here and America made it a big deal, he would have long been forgotten and distrusted and discounted, right? If it wasn't for
Trump
the
is
fact
hiding
that,
it.
go ahead.
Trump isn't even hiding it anymore.
Yeah.
He's openly, blatantly, you're using words like fascist and authoritarian dictator. A few months ago, people could have accused you of overreacting, but it's blatant. He's open about it. He's admitting it. Okay. He wants authoritarian power. And my great fear is, I don't know if you're ever going to have midterm elections. Because if you have midterm elections and if Trump loses the House or the House and the Senate, heaven forbid, his power's gone. He's finished. And he will not allow that to happen. I don't believe he'll allow that to happen.
No.
Well, that's why you have military in the streets. But there's also, that's just the outward. That's like the last call, because the type of authoritarianism that I believe is most likely in a country that's so used to democracy will be what Russia has, where you have an election, but you already know who's going to win. And no matter what happens, that ends up being the case. We're going to have to fight the fight of our lives in order to have a free and fair election in 2026. Anyone who's thinking that election is going to be what changes it needs to realize that it's too late. The soldiers are already here. Have you noticed? Have you noticed? Have you noticed outside that the soldiers are already here? Have you noticed that they don't need warrants? Have you noticed they've been able to stop anybody they want and never have to give an answer? Do you notice that they're wearing masks? At what point do you think you're going to walk through them to the election office? What are you thinking about? What are you thinking about when you say 2026? Have you noticed that they're able to do anything they want without any recall? None of them have been sent to jail. Have you noticed? Have you noticed that they ride around in trucks that are armored with long guns and have no consequence? Have you noticed that they're at public buildings arresting people at court dates? What makes you think that they're not going to be at the election box? Have you noticed, America?
Well, and some of
They've
the
already said that they're sending ICE to the Super Bowl because of Bad Bunny being the main show. I mean, what the hell?
and he's American.
I know, but they're
So-
looking for his fans. They're looking to disrupt. You know, one of the things that concerned me, if anything, I was a bit encouraged last week by his speech to the generals. He made such a fool of himself. These are 800 men and women who've spent their entire career as leaders, judging leadership, evaluating qualities of strength in men and women. You know, they're professionals at it. And then you got these two idiots, these two clowns up there, babbling at them like they're cheerleaders at a high school football game. I can't see any way any general in that crowd could have left there without a feeling of shame and concern about what the heck they just saw.
Yeah, it's disgraceful. It was dishonorable. It was insulting, humiliating. I mean, I don't want to see fat generals. Who are you talking to? Didn't you have a dishonorable discharge, asshole? What are you talking about?
You know, there's another point there. I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's one of the things that hit me. I've realized this whole thing about physical attributes and fat or trans or gay, whatever, okay? In today's world, it's the mind as much as the body that counts, okay? You need specialists, you need technicians, you need geeks, you need nerds, you need hackers, you need people with skill sets that may or may not be the jock or the football star, okay? You need this collaboration.
There's this much less physical combat these days.
Them all.
Hold on. I want to make sure we're framing it properly, because that's the exact framing that they want you to believe. As a veteran of these United States Army, there's already a physical standard. Did you notice that no one in the crowd was fat? Who's he talking about? This nobody. But because he said it, people are already finding a way to say, well, you need more than that. That's true, but you still have to, there's already a standard. He's acting like it's not already there, which is the insulting part, because you're telling people who have kept the PT standard of at least, I believe, 97 or more to be in the position that they're in. As a drill sergeant, I had to keep 100. I probably couldn't do it now, but 15, 16 years ago, I had to keep 100 standard. And before anybody graduated from boot camp, they had to keep their standards. So there is no such thing as what he's talking about. What he's saying is, look at the TV, look at everybody, look at me, and look at how I'm straightening up the military.
Yeah, well,
because the people who
show.
don't know are going to assume that there's fat generals around hanging around.
Right.
They don't exist.
All performance for an audience of basically one, as always.
Well, it's more dangerous because it's to an audience of 300 million. The idea is, look at what I just did with the military, right? These are the types of things that Adolf Hitler needed Goebbels for. Is look at how we're doing. Look at how they're stepping in line. You couldn't get that. And so he goes on TV and says, I'm cleaning this up, but it's already clean. But nobody who's not there doesn't know that. Look at what I did to clean this up. And these things fall flat because he was speaking to generals who were professionals and who didn't clap and he didn't take the bait. But that's what it was for.
Okay, well, you say 300 million people watched it, but out of that, like, there's still only 20 to 30% that supports his mania, psychosis. But everybody in America has traditionally always respected the military, have people in their family for generations in the military of some branch or another. They don't believe that, do they? How can they? I mean, to me, it just seems that the majority of them would just say, "What the fuck?
Well,
He's lying.
I
He's a
mean,
clown."
if you don't have a family member in the military, you don't know.
Yeah.
But
If you
still,
don't have,
that ethic has been so drilled into you guys, so to
well,
speak,
no,
to respect the military.
for the past 9 months, it hasn't.
I guess.
For the past 9 months, we've been too woke. The military's woke. We're not fighters anymore. The military has different standards for women. For the past, so the thing is, all he needs, in his mind, is enough people to believe it and go, "Dang, what happened to us? We used to be the greatest military, blah blah blah. Nothing's changed." But you say it enough, and here's the point:
yeah, that old
he's
trick.
the president.
That old trick.
How did that happen? Well, because if you say it enough, all the lies that he said, if you say it enough and look like you mean it to enough people who want it, you'd be surprised what people believe. I bet you that I can go out there on the street, gather up 20 people and say, "What do you think of our military?" And 5 of them will go, "I don't know. I've heard all this stuff. I'm not sure, like, what's going on with them." I'm sure that would be their answer because they don't know.
Yeah.
And they've been trying to put a divide between the citizenship and the military, which has been so intelligent and smart that I know it wasn't Trump's plan. They've been doing that. They've been putting a divide between citizens and non-citizens, a divide between the CDC and the citizens, a divide between the military, any government organization or foundational institution, the libraries, the schools, every one of them are a threat if the citizens believe in them more than they believe in you. This regime has been putting a divide between every institution. The hardest one to do has been the military, and I'm not sure that they're winning, but that's the plan, and they're not going to stop.
Yeah. Well, just like everything with his tariffs, with all his policies, foreign and domestic, everybody is confused. Nobody knows what's the truth or who to believe, and that's the point,
That's the point.
Yeah. It's emergencies. It's a declaration of emergencies and declaring enemies. I mean, that's the tactic he's taken.
Yeah. Enemies.
Presidential memo. Have you've all heard about this presidential memo here defining what's Antifa? By the way, I am anti-fascist and proud of it. Period. Okay, right? Right? But their definition they've come up with is just so maddening, where they start to define and say what they define as characteristics of anti-fascist is anti-Americanism, anti-capitalism, extreme views on gender and race and migration, anybody who's opposed to traditional American values. This is what they're defining as a domestic terrorist threat. It's I don't know what to say. Yeah.
And well, they just want everybody who is non-white or non-conformist to suffer or get out. And that includes infirm, aged, all of that. So they want this master race back. They say that the Dems wanted a great replacement by importing brown people, but they are projecting because they want to replace everybody that's living here that isn't white and perfect and rich and beautiful.
Oh, yeah. But this fear I have of his legal assault on Comey, others, on other opposition, and he's going to come for us. We all know that. It's a matter of time before they start saying you can't broadcast things that are considered anti-American.
It's happening.
They're going to try to stop us. I don't know when or how, But, Radio Free Canada is here to help you guys anytime. We will rebroadcast anything you give us. Yeah.
Well, didn't he just break the law again by taking down Voice of America?
Yeah. Yeah.
They had told him, no, you can't do that. And now he's snuck back in and did it again.
They did it again?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I you know,
And the Dems are out there saying, well, it's all about our Medicare. No, it's about
I want to raise
fucking militarization.
I want to raise another point. I'm going to take this places that you may not want me to go, but I'm going to go there. Okay.
Go for it.
We've all watched the mainstream media really disappoint us on how they're covering what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Now, their attempt to play both sides, their attempt not to report on, not to keep following up on things, to let their guests get away with crap like they never should.
Mm-hmm.
So the world and many people are turning to the internet, to podcasts, to views like this. And I watch a lot of podcasters like you, like me, who've got 10,000, 20,000, 40,000, 50,000, 100,000 subscribers.
Right.
And we go out there day after day and pull it and do it. But there seems to be, and we have nothing to gain by picking on our own. I'm not here to criticize those podcasters on our side, but I've got a couple of things, points I want to make. When I watched the largest podcasts that are on our side, and by name, like the Midas Talk Network and Brian Tyler Cohen, 4, 5, 6 million subscribers each. I watch them. I think the job they're doing is great, but I've noticed they're all being sponsored by Shopify, which is a pro-Trump. I watched Brian Tyler Cohen have an episode where he's condemning Disney and ABC for having pulled the Jimmy Kimmel show. And he's saying to people, look, I'm going to cancel my Disney subscription. I'm going to cancel my Hulu subscription. And then he cuts to a commercial promoting Shopify, who the first thing they did when Trump got elected is they canceled all their DEI programs. They fell right in line because they wanted to be consistent in order to grow their market share with the U.S., corporations and the oligarchy. Mm-hmm. They fall right in line. And we in Canada are not fans of Shopify, but they're now out there sponsoring me. And I know, I'd give anything for good sponsorship. Okay, I really would, but I'm not going to allow a sponsor me whose success endangers our cause that we're trying to get to. And
I didn't even know that either of those two were sponsored by Shopify. Like they gave their own commercials on Shopify.
They gave personal endorsements. They got on the screen and said, Shopify's, you should use, like they recorded personal endorsements of it, okay? It wasn't, and you know what? I've tried to contact them. I've sent them emails. I've given them comments. They don't even pay attention to me. I'm a nobody. I'm a crazy old man to them, okay? So, like I said, I'm not here to criticize them because I think they're doing a great job of helping us to keep things moving ahead and uncovering some truth.
They've got to be more consistent.
But we've got to also make sure ourselves that we're doing this right. One of my concerns with a lot of the big networks is if you watch them every day, you get encouraged like, wow, Trump's on the verge of collapsing. He's just about to be wiped out because every day they come out with his poll numbers are crashing. His this, MAGA supporters are turned on him.
When is he ever have good poll numbers?
Yeah, I mean, when we look at poll numbers, yes, they are at the lowest level for any president at this point, but his poll numbers are higher than Joe Biden was for 3/4 of his term. They're higher than it was when he was kicked out of office in 2020, like when he was stepped out of office. So I have some hesitation when these channels are promoting every day to people, yeah, he's on the run. Yeah, we've got him scared. Yeah, his poll numbers are falling. Because they're making people, it's a disincentive to act against him. Because they think, yes, things are correcting themselves. And I don't think they are.
I'm with you there.
As I said, I support those channels. I watch them. I think they do a great job. Okay, I really do. But I've got some concerns about the audience watching them and what they're taking out of this. If what they take out of this is, yep, Trump's on his way down, and yeah, I'm going to go buy Shopify, then they're getting the wrong message, okay? And that seems to be one of the things I got out of their stuff.
Yeah, so I would be here's the thing. So I didn't even know that about Shopify, but I also didn't know that they were sponsored by them either. Those people. I think that for me, we need to be boycotting. We need to not. We need to make sure that we're speaking with our dollars, and we need to be doing strikes. Yesterday, we got to get it together.
A general strike is going to happen because
Yeah,
all these organized, like I keep telling people, don't wait for an organized protest. You start something, do something.
Start something. On another level, I think that I no longer have any, or I no longer have any misconceptions, or even pretend that I give a damn about purity anymore. I don't care. I don't care at all. I think that if your message is fighting this fascist regime, and you're getting paid by Paramount, then you're the exception. I don't care.
Yep.
I no longer care. I think that if you're taking money from the oil company and Trump, but everything you say helps to bring down this regime, take it.
Yeah.
And we can fight. We can fight when it's gone. If everything you say is right, and your message is one that can help take down the regime, I don't care. I'll get back on my high horse afterwards. That's where I'm at, because this is now war. I can tell you one thing, as when you find out the type of people who were helping the Jews and the industries they were in and the money that they got, when they were the people who kept the upstairs apartment, but downstairs were feeding the soldiers. That money was dirty, and it kept Jews alive.
Yeah.
When we realized that kids are outside naked, chained together without warrants, I will take whatever I have to and use it for the betterment of democracy.
Yeah.
And I'm there.
The Robin Hood ethos.
I'm just gonna be honest.
We're all Robin Hood.
Yeah, for real. And the minute that
understand your comment, I got to think it through. But I can understand your comment, and I appreciate your thought, your sentiment, because I know it's genuine. And yeah, there's a point there. Okay, not sure where I stand with it, but yeah, I see your point.
On the other end, now that is the comment just on the topic. More poignantly, I don't really know if I thought that I like the fact that Midas Touch is doing great, but I'm not sure that their message is the one that's going to be defeating the fascists. So I'm not saying you're wrong there, but I'm just making a more general point that here, I'll make it personal. Yeah. Hey, YouTube, if I start going with Spotify, I don't give a fuck. How about that? Because I also am out here in the fight. And I'm also going to give you what you need to bring down this establishment. They most likely, when they find out what I say, won't back me, more than likely. So, my ears are perked when I hear that someone like them is sponsoring them, because I'm wondering, what's the type of person? Because when you hear what I say, there's a lot of people who wanted to sponsor me until they heard.
Yeah.
That's just how I like it. But so I'm not saying that you're wrong or right there. But what I am saying is, I would have cared 9 months ago. I would have cared 9 months ago.
It's not our biggest worry right now, definitely.
Yeah, right now my biggest worry is getting naked children of color off of the street.
Yeah.
In the middle of the night. My biggest worry is getting torture chambers in other countries filled with American citizens shut down. And whatever it takes, whatever it takes.
Well, here in Canada, we've just, come to the point of this truth and reconciliation actually starting to blossom. And to think about what we did to those poor children, ripping them away from families, sometimes naked and tied up and sent away, disappeared to be tortured, killed,
Yeah.
just erased. And some of the ones who were left behind, the family, they were sterilized. They were just, it's horrible what we did. And to think about, and we're seeing it now in the US with brown children and black children. It's just, I don't even have words, so
I like, so that's one thing. So, like I said, I wanted to get here and learn about what's going on up there. My tone may be strong, but I also understand that that's only because the fight that I'm in here is different from the one that you guys are in up there. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to give off the idea that everything is militant, nothing matters anymore. That's just this moment here where I am. What's it like what is that feeling up there? Where are you guys standing with?
That's my point, is that I agree with you so strongly. I'm trying to get Canadians to be more militant because the polls are starting to readjust themselves. Pierre Poilievre has gotten, he's back in Parliament and he's preaching the same things. He's preaching Trumpism, in effect, the policies of Trumpism, and he's using divisiveness as his technique to get support. And, Canadians, it's so easy to look for a quick answer. A lot of Americans voted for Trump in November last year because they thought there was a quick answer. Oh, we'll get better pricing, we'll get lower prices, we'll get what have you, some improvement. And it was a trap. And I see the same kind of thing happening here as Poilievre goes around talking about, look at the price of housing where it is, look at what's happened. They haven't made progress in moving forward, blaming the government for it, looking for a way to wedge himself in there. Yeah. I think that we have to accept that it's not just you down there. The entire world is under threat by this growing threat. And everybody in every country has to be willing to pay the price and speak out and do the things. And yes, radicalism and extremism are called for. We need to act that way or we're going to lose it. We've had this wonderful situation in North America in particular of peace in our lifetimes and prosperity. And we've taken things for granted, our freedoms, our liberties. But our forefathers fought for those things. They fought fascists for those things, and they died for those things. Mm-hmm. And I'm afraid that, part of the price of fighting MAGA, if you want to call it that, take the name Trump away from it because he could come or go anytime. I mean, he's an old man, but this whole MAGA movement that's going on, defeating that is going to hurt us. It's going to cost us jobs and careers, and like any war does, things get destroyed. And I'm trying to get people to accept, but that's worth it. We need to do that. And I understand people have kids and rents and jobs and bills to pay, and that's important. They got their families to look after. But I fear they're going to lose it all if they let what's happening in the background, this cloud that's rolling in over top of us. Somewhere you got to stop and say, no, it's more in my interest to oppose this, even if there is a lot more pain short term. Mm-hmm. Think about the pain people went through in the Second World War. These people in Europe, right? They lost everything, but that didn't stop them from fighting. They had to do it, And you know what? My optimism of human beings, we can rebuild wealth and economies quicker than people would believe if people are left free to prosper and given the opportunity to do so. So I'm promoting radicalism and asking Canadians to consider acting stronger and demanding more from our leaders. That's where I'm coming at it from.
Well, what do you think about Charlie Angus's tour and his? He's been pretty militant.
I have a lot of respect for Charlie Angus. I read his articles every day. He understands the importance and the severity of it all. He does.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have nothing against success or wealth or prosperity. I really encourage businesses to succeed. But the truth of it is, some of these podcasts are multi-million-dollar operations with staffs and what have you, and it's hard for them to stay in touch with the grassroots. And to some extent, I think Charlie Angus is misspent. I think he's better off in the grassroots. That's where he spent his entire life, on the ground with the people. Okay, not being a network TV commentator. So, what he says,
he was a performer first. So,
yes, yeah.
What about the new campaign by Andy for the NDP leader? Oh dear, now I'm
yes, Avi Lewis.
Yes, Avi Lewis.
Yeah. Hey, I actually just caught on Avi Lewis in the last week or so. I've been watching his campaign. Okay, I'm not a socialist. I don't believe in socialist economic policy. But you know what? He's got the right attitude and how we got to haul government in, how we got to control corporations, how we got to. I'd rather say part of my belief. I come at this as a pro-business, almost a conservative. As I said, I used to be a libertarian. But I believe that economies can right themselves if governments overdo regulation, taxation. They can. Okay? But human dignity, human rights, suffering, children dying, that can't be undone. So if it comes to having to overdo one side or the other, I would rather have economies strangled than people. So
absolutely.
So I'm in support of if the NDP is the way to do it, I'm with them all the way.
Yeah, I'm independent. I feel makes sense for the best.
I'm looking for fighters. I'm looking for fighters, and he seems to be one. So
let me ask you a question before, because I might have to go before this is done. You probably see me here interacting with my son. Keeps coming down. There's some sort of issue going on upstairs, and I might have to go fix that. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Well, let's try to wrap it up in the next 15, anyways.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. So you said before, you're proud anti-fascist. These maybe Canadians are terrorists. What did you mean by that? Because I saw that you had a show. I hadn't seen the show, but you basically named the show that I think it just came out yesterday or the day before. Is Trump labeling Canadians terrorists? And I'm guessing, is that what you meant by that? Well, what was that about? So now that since I have you in the flesh, I don't have to watch the show. Tell me.
It was specifically his labeling of what he considers an enemy of the American government and of the American people, and what he's unleashing law enforcement against. And by every definition, I match, to tell you the truth, half of Canada, 3/4 of Canada, lives up to his definition. Yes, many of us are anti-American. Yes, many of us are anti-capitalist. Yes, many of us question traditional American family values. And this memorandum was not an executive order. It's a memorandum of operation. It's given to all law enforcement, saying these are the groups who you investigate. These are the groups to spend budget on. You want to get promoted, you want to work through the ranks, these are your targets. And they basically defined Antifa as a target. Antifa doesn't exist. So they came up with a memorandum that gave specific qualities of what that was. And these are the characteristics that they used to define. This is what we're defining. And you know what? You've got Stephen Miller and I can't even think of his name, the other guy, Gorka or whatever, Trump's two secret advisors saying, yeah, we're going after those people. We're after them now. As I said,
they're screaming it.
Yeah, Gorka. Sebastian Gorka. That's what I meant to say.
Trump is definitely being led around while he's being left to interior decorate the White House with gold leaf and build himself a new palace.
And pocket his crypto bucks.
He got to raid Fort Knox for all the gold for his office and the ballroom, and all you poors get is a lousy $1 coin with his fucking face on it. That's what he thinks of you.
I don't even know. Last time I checked, it wasn't making money. I'm not sure how it. I don't know if it can make money. It's a meme coin. I don't know what that means. Every time
But
I try to look into it, all I
yeah, but
know is like,
aside from his meme coin, that's part of it. But he has completely deregulated the crypto industry. And he and his family are heavily invested in a number of crypto companies. And have removed all regulation on them. They're making billions of dollars hand over fist, nothing to do with his coin in particular,
yeah.
with the crypto industry as a whole. Okay.
Mhm.
They're just raking in money. Okay.
And that industry is going to destroy the planet and take all the water. And
Under the
Yeah.
emoluments clause itself, he should have been impeached. If we're not fighting for it, if we're not saying he needs to be out via the 25th Amendment, he needs to be out and impeached, then what we're actually telling people is we don't believe what we're saying. And I don't think that the Democrats get that part of it. Like, if you believed that he belongs in jail, that he's authoritarian, that he's anti-American, and that he's disobeyed every law that matters as a president, then why haven't you impeached him? Why haven't you given that the letter of impeachment yet? Like, why haven't you done that? And so it still becomes this, oh, maybe he did, maybe he didn't, because
Yeah.
we're still trying to pick fights that we think will win in this district or that TV screen, rather than just doing what's right. If the Democrats could just
I
do
was
what's right,
suburban university grads, which is one
yeah.
demographic they're after.
What
Okay.
demographic will this appeal to?
Who cares?
If I
Okay,
do this
right?
impeachment, who's gonna? Are they gonna say this? Are they gonna say that? I just don't understand it. There should have been every single session that starts should start with, here's another letter, article of impeachment. We'd like you to vote on this, Senate. Yep. We can get back to other business after that as well. So I hear you guys are offering jobs up there. How's it hanging?
hey, we could use a few folks in our military too.
Yes. I'd like to know more about so what is it like up there for just the regular citizenry? Like, is it as dire a actual threat? Like, are you guys still dealing with higher prices every day because of the tariffs, or have things evened out?
No, we've got the lowest tariffs of anyone, and we've been elbows up for a good long time now, and nobody's complained very much. Everybody seems to say, no, we're elbows up for the long haul. We're not buying American. Nick?
Our economy outperformed the U.S. marginally, but outperformed the U.S. for the first part of the year. So
outstanding. So that might be another reason why you're not going to get the fight that you're looking for from the people. Now, I think pushing that fight to your government, yeah. But I got to be honest with you. If Poland was doing, or Norway, or Sudan, or Egypt, or Ethiopia was doing what's happening here, I personally am not going to be as invested in the fight. I would want my government to do something about it for sure, and I, whatever that is. But yeah. I'm not sure that you're going to get, as long as you guys are doing the right thing by your own people. I'm not sure that you're going to get the kind of fight that you're looking for, unfortunately, Nick, because you guys aren't hungry yet. And that is actually a good thing.
Canada has traditionally followed the U.S.
Yep.
2 to 5 years behind it. We've seen that happen in
true.
Products, in media, in social trends. It's something that has tended to happen. And the great fear that we're fighting against is we do not want to go down the road you've gone down.
Right. We got to nip it in the bud now.
Yeah. Aside from the threat that may pose to us, we have this great fear of people sitting here saying, look what they're doing in the States. We want to be like that. That's commonly heard throughout Alberta, throughout the Maple Mega. They admire what Trump is doing, and they want us to do the same.
What do they
And
admire about it?
somehow
Like the
people are
immigrants, they
receptive to
want
that.
We
the
have, yeah,
racism and
there's been a
stuff.
lot of immigration here, and people are, around the world, they've all been infected with this mind virus of immigrant bad, but there have been problems. I have to admit it. There have been some gang violence activities like we've never seen before going on. So yeah, there's that's really pushed a lot of buttons around, it's
Yeah.
help
And
me.
it's a package.
So
Immigration is one of the big problems, I think, with Canadians right now, wanting to be more emulating the United States. Get them out.
Generally speaking, if you look at, the rate of crime in the US or in Canada, it's not nearly as bad. But when politicians want to get votes, their job is to scare people, to
Mhm.
tell people how horrible it is and how bad it is. So
Yeah.
they focus a microscope on a problem and imply that that's happening everywhere, when
Yeah.
it may or may not be. There's a lack of rational, calm analysis of what is and is not going on.
Hmm.
And politicians are too quick to jump on the bandwagon and we need tougher laws, put them in prison, stop immigration. We can't let them in the country anymore, throw them all out. It's just this
Well,
appealing to this
that used to be sort of
experience.
more, that used to be kind of the hyperbole and nobody really believed, and then they'd work things out in the parliament or whatever. But now it's gotten really nasty.
Yeah.
And they
uh,
expect this guy to go and get those people. And
wow.
Yeah.
And how much? What's the percentage there of that? Would you say, just as people who cover this stuff all the time?
well, Nick, you want to take a stab at that one? I'd say it's
Well,
not the
you know,
majority.
yeah, to look at the overreaction, okay, you've got to just understand that we are a party, the Conservative Party, Pierre Poilievre, who over the course of a year went from being just below in the polls to being up 26 points. It looked like they were an overwhelming majority. Everything shifted, okay? And when I started covering carefully the Canadian election in December, the only hope I had is that Poilievre, when he got elected, didn't have a majority because that would hold him back. Then Trump stepped on the scene. And as soon as Trump opened his mouth, Canadians reacted to it strongly, okay? But
Lovely too.
but what Poilievre did in 2 years, building up to that huge lead, he did by stoking fears of people against immigrants, against minorities, the cultural warfare that we're seeing against wokeism in the States. That's the technique that Poilievre employed. And unfortunately, Canadians are getting comfortable with falling, and he's throwing that out there again, and people are starting to accept that again.
The lesson is America said it could never happen here.
Hmm.
So Canada wants to stay the way they are. I would look down here and realize that vigilance is, no matter how good it is something that should be kept at the forefront of the mind for the rest of our generations all the time, because there's always
Absolutely.
a Trump around the corner, a
Well,
Poilievre around the corner.
yeah, and as far as staying who we are, no, we've already changed. We've already started looking elsewhere.
Yep.
We're moving on.
Yep. Outstanding.
But there's still this influence we've got to deal with. So there's so much more we could talk about another time, I hope. And till then, thank you so much, Nick, for being on again with us, and Doug for joining us.
I want to interrupt for a minute, okay?
Oh, here we go.
Oh, hang on.
Here we go. Here we go.
I try to keep sports out of politics.
Here we go.
But today,
where's my hat?
Canada's Toronto Blue Jays, we're not playing the New York Yankees. We are playing the Trump Yankees. Donald Trump is the biggest fan in the world of the New York Yankees. He goes to their locker room. He takes thumbs up pictures with them. And I just looked at my phone and while we were watching, and this says that in the bottom of the eighth, it's 9-1 Toronto.
Woo!
Whoa!
Listen, if we can defeat Trump's Yankees, it's a good day in Canada.
I'm down with that 100%. I got my elbows up. I hate the game.
Go, Blue Jays, go.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
man.
about it. Yeah, thanks, guys.
That's your close for your episode.
I love it. I love it. I love it, man. I'm not even a baseball fan, but I hate the Yankees. I'm a Cubs fan. I'm not a baseball fan. I'm a Cubs fan. So when they're doing well, I watch. When they're not doing well, I don't know what's happening in baseball.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. All right, go Blue Jays. I'm with you.
Time to take off, eh?
I'm about to be out of here. Thanks, guys.
Laura, thank you so much.
All righty. Talk soon.
Hey, yeah, you. Before you click away to watch someone unbox a tactical toothbrush, let's talk about something real. Political Drain isn't just another content mill. We're a digital front in a very real war. Not with bullets, but with ideas, with action, and with solidarity. We pair urgent news with critical education. And we build community around actual resistance, not the hashtag kind. The kind that moves. But here's the thing. None of this is free. It isn't. Behind every video is time, labor, research, and some weird guy asking if we're going to pay the hosting bill. And yeah, some of that money goes to things we can't necessarily say out loud. If you know, you know. Let's just say our special ops aren't Call of Duty LARPers. They're people making real moves to protect, uplift, and organize. You're not just funding a channel. You're funding a resistance network in a world where capital still calls the shots. Unfortunately, in a system built on artificial scarcity, even mutual aid has a price tag. And if we want to grow, if we want to win, we need your help. We need your help. So if you've got even a few bucks to spare, toss it our way. It's not for ads. It's not for merch drops, but for people making moves in the shadows so others can do it in the light. It's just us and you. So fund the mission, fund the fight, fund the future, because nobody's coming to save us. We save each other. That's how this works. Follow us on all these things you see here, and our link tree is in the description. Maybe even get some merch.